So unfortunately, this lock motor that I put on 2 years ago isn't as good as the original one. It's a fraction of the price, but now this one's not working. And the other one lasted about 18 years. This is a 2005 Toyota Echo. So I'm gonna have to do it again, but I'm not paying for the dealer price, which is like $400. So I just ordered another one of these 4 solenoids, and I'm using that's what they look like out of the box. Exactly the same as the ones from Toyota, but obviously the innards aren't the same. So very quickly, make another video. Maybe I'll do it faster this time, getting better at it. A couple of screws that you got to get to undo. And then you just have to put a tool down the side here to get that retaining spring off the crank. Most people have electric ones, but I've just got the mechanical ones. So I'll do that very quickly. I continue to find this the hardest part of the job, but is to get this thing off. But if you put a screwdriver down between the washer, I just haven't got enough light, I'm sorry, but if you put it between the washer and the crank, you can see the top of the spring, and then just take a hook tool like this and just hook it into the top of that spring, and it pulls out off the top. And when you put it back in, just make sure you put it so that the loop part of the spring is at the top here. Make it a lot easier to get at. But yeah, that's the part that slows me down on this job, is getting bloody crank off. And you can sort of see the setup there. I've got the hook through the spring by cranking that thing out. And now I can just pull this, should be able to pull the spring out. Yeah. So there's the 2 parts there. I accidentally hit the stop button on record, and I got to edit the video, unfortunately. But there they are. There's the parts. So now to take this thing off, you just go at the bottom of this door here, and you can feel a couple of places where you can get your fingers on it. There's just right there in the middle of the door. Just give that a pull, and it'll come out. I have to use 2 hands, but just those standard plastic clips. And lift out and then up, because you don't want to crack the top part. So there it is up there, and then where that molding, window molding comes over, you just sort of have to work it out. And I found a better way to put it back in. It's just put a wire underneath it or a string, and then pull it out. It pulls that thing right back out. When you're pulling that vapor barrier back, just be patient. Don't try and rip it right off. You'll end up more work than you just pull it like that. It just comes off. And then you can press it right back into position afterwards. So you need to undo those Torxes. And then I think these are just they're just 10 mil, these guys. And then I think you have to loosen the lower railing bolt as well, just so you can move things around a bit. So I found having to do the other one again, that it was much easier. It saved distorting this connecting bar or rod or whatever you want to call it. So just bend this thing with your gloves on, because it's probably slimy from a bit of grease. Just turn this until you can withdraw this rod up here. I've already done it, but I just want to show you. And then get that out of the way, and that allows you to turn this thing much more easily. Whoops, sorry. To get that bar out without bending everything all up. So just I found that easier than just trying to distort this bar. And you risk. I remember bending it a little bit and having to get it back into the right shape. So it might work better for you if you do what I did there. And then this thing just twist and turn a little bit. It comes out. I can't do it with one hand. Yeah, that's why you have to undo this rail, because it sort of catches. If you can move it just over a little bit, just gives you enough clearance to get it out. And then you get to unplug your electrical. Standard Toyota little pinch on the top, and it should clear the lock on it. And I'll put it on the ground and we'll take a look at it. So there it is out. So I just have to undo those brass screws there. And it's definitely the motor's seized up electrically inside. I must have fried something because I can't move anything. I'll take it off here and take a look. So just be careful that you've got the right one. Look at where the wiring harness clips in there. Because the other ones for the fronts are much bigger. But the other ones look pretty much identical. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is gently, with the flat blade screwdriver, just work around this thing just to break that glue. That is just the glue holding it on, and that'll reveal this little cam underneath it. So there it is, with its rabbit ears taken off. So there's the new one screwed in place. So now I'm just going to weasel it back into the opening and position it back into the recesses back here. And then I'll hook up the linkages again and then we'll give it a try. So then I'm just going to put this thing into that insert there, slight distortion of the linkage, and then rotate it upwards and put the other the upward button bar back on. Just in case I didn't have the linkage the right way when I was doing that last little clip there. So it's got to go the angle that way. It's a little tricky getting it in here. You have to sort of distort this bar. So anyways, that's the routing of through this clip as well. I'll just put the top one, this black one, up in here, and screw it back into place, then put it back together. Don't forget just do these hand tight, because these are just going into nylon little inserts. I don't know what this thing's for. I mean, it's got no strength because it's just nylon anchors into the sheet metal. It doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe it's some option. Maybe it's for electric windows. I don't know. Anyways, if you didn't already do it, make sure you check that you've got your connection. Push your electrical plug in there. And then I'm just going to quickly check to make sure that the solenoid's working before I zip everything up. Uh-oh. Worked once, but it didn't work a second time. Can't see the button. Good, it's working. Before you put the door panel back on, just put a piece of string or a wire just underneath that rubber. Just makes it super easy. When you put the panel back on, you can just pull the wire. I'll try and show it, and it just pulls that rubber back out. Otherwise, you're trying to put a screwdriver out, and it's kind of a long process, and you end up scuffing up the rubber. So I'll show you in a sec. And don't forget to put that the little tab for the lock back on. Screw it back on, or you'll be uttering compliments to yourself, as I just was, taking the panel back off again. I hope I don't screw it up doing it with one hand here, but that's what I'm talking about here. You just kind of pull this out, and then it pulls that rubber. I'm going to switch over to you can see how it's going to go anyway. Just don't want to pull the wire back. I got to hold it the other end so I don't pull it through, but that's how you do it. And then it just sits on top. A lot easier than trying to fish it out. There it is, all pulled out. When you're putting this insert in, just make sure that the little spiky things and these guides, those go down the holes, and these things are just like spacers because it only goes in the one way. Easy to get it backwards though, and wonder why you can't get it in. When you go to put your crank back on, just make sure that the loop of the spring is towards the back so you can get it. If you put it in the other way, you're going to have a hard time getting it off. And then this just goes, see how that recess there fits over the spring. And then you should be able to just snap this thing on. It's hard to do with one hand, but put it in a position like that so it doesn't hit your leg. And I'm going to need two hands just to get it done there. But anyways, that's the basic idea. It just presses on until that spring fits in the groove. And there it is. If you put it down, it'll be hitting the person in the back leg all the time. So yeah, that whole thing took me probably about 30 minutes. If I wasn't recording it, maybe it took me about 40 minutes, maybe 45, having to stop and record. But not a very hard job, especially when you've had to do it additional 3 times. So I guess those cheaper motors for the locks are not the highest quality, but geez, they look identical in every other respect. So I don't know, but yeah, got about 2 years out of it. But you know, it's still better than paying $400.